Ladies and gentlemen, this is Internet Personality Vangelis, with a light speed review of Kamen Rider Kuuga in his Pegasus form. This is the asymmetrical Kuuga. He's got one shoulder pad on one arm and one armband on the other arm. And he is a deep, deep green. His Grongi lettering is etched into his collar, and it's, just as I said before, one of the biggest drawing points for me of these guys. I mean, aside from all the obvious, really oomphy, toyetic drawing points, just these little sculpted details really finish things off nicely. And the clear green compound eyes have a bit of a liquidy aspect to them, which is, again, it's great how the Kuugas let us experience what this effect is like in various different hues, so we can enjoy all the different moods they might extol upon us. At least if you're artsy-fartsy like I am. And once again, his Arkel is similarly green and emerald in hue. So, just in case you were thinking I might be lying about this, no, it is indeed green. His big accessory, though, is his weapon, the Pegasus Bowgun, and this thing is a monster. Aside from having Grongi lettering all over the place, it's very unique among SH Figuarts accessories in that it has moving parts, but we'll get to that in a second. As far as spare hands go, he's a weaponized Kuuga, so he has fists holding things hands and anger splayed hands. And like any Kuuga, he has fairly full posability all over the place. Although Pegasus form, I don't think the posability was quite as necessary. I mean, it's always necessary, but it's not something that was forefront in my mind, mostly because this guy typically is only doing a few things. He can only maintain Pegasus form for so long, and during that, he typically just, he'll put his hand to his ear, and then he'll shoot the bowgun. Speaking of the bowgun, this thing, alright. I believe that the best comparison I can make here is to borrow the adage that Shukuen Shinobi used in his own video review. This is everything that the Drake Zector from Kamen Rider Drake should have been. Because not only can you pull out the back here, so you can draw back the bowgun in order to prepare to wreck the day of some airborne Grongi, but the top part also moves, and the top part doesn't just move, it is geared internally to move in tandem. So, Figuarts accessories typically are not very intricate as far as toy engineering. They're intricate sculpts, intricate paint jobs, but they're usually a static piece. This thing not only has moving parts, but it has linked moving parts. And for that reason alone, this is one of the coolest accessories to come with Figuarts, at least as far as non-exclusives go. I mean, we can chat all day about Kamen Rider Yuki, but I don't have him because he's expensive. So, Kuuga Pegasus form, the big draw of this one is the accessory. And it really helps that they did this, because unlike the other weaponized Kuugas, he doesn't have a really obvious weapon that a lot of people dig, like a big-ass staff or an enormous sword. He just has a little gun. And giving it these extra functionalities really helps out, make it a bit of a draw for folks who might be on the fence. And I know, that, again, that the weaponized Kuugas are usually the first Figuarts that people don't buy from the regular releases, because, well, there's 4 of them in total, for one thing, and by 4 I mean 3. I keep forgetting that Godai's fists, even though I consider them to be a weapon, they are not weaponized. But as I was saying, the weaponized Kuugas do typically get skipped over by folks who are trying to save some money, or if they do pick them up, they'll usually go for the big staff or the big sword. So Pegasus form has a few things working against him in those regards. There are not that many people, I think, who actively are after Pegasus form unless they really like the color green. So I hope that I've shown you, some of the qualities of this guy and the really cool accessory he comes with. And deep down, in my deepest schadenfreude pits of sadism, I hope that I've convinced you to buy him, because I like making other people spend money in the silly ways that I do. However, while he has no real faults that I can cite, he is the least visually interesting of the weaponized Kuugas, mostly, as I said, because he has a gun and not some kind of giant epic sword or staff. So, there's not much I can say to try to sway people into getting him. There's not much I can say in defense of reasons why people don't want him. If you don't think that his gun is cool, then, you're not going to think that he's a cool release. but I can definitely tell you that quality-wise, he is up to par, as far as Figuarts go. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelis. And much like Kuga, we can't maintain the Pegasus form forever. We've got to shift away from the edge of green, and embrace our purple pride.